Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting video. I thought it would be fun to talk you through some books that I've been reading this year. These are just books that I've read personally. I'm not counting assigned reading or anything. So it only came out to about 10. By the time this video comes out, I hope I have at least posted or talked about or started reading the books from my YASH win. And I really hope that I'm past 10 by now. But for now, it's just 10 because some of them were audiobooks that I read during class, and some were basically just me reading. So these books were all really enjoyable for me, and I will give you my honest opinion about them. But basically what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna tell you the title, read you the blurb, the synopsis, and then I'll just tell you if I recommend it or not. Hopefully this won't be a super long video. I really hope it's not. But yeah, these are in order of the most recent that I read to the not so recent. The first book that I read is Yes, No, Maybe So, written by Becky Albertalli. So this is a book that I already read a synopsis of in a few videos ago. You guys can go in the past video and read it, and same with the second one as well. It is a very fun and fluffy book. If you like romance and something lighthearted, I do recommend this book to you. But if you're not into it, and it is very political, so if you're not into politics, I don't recommend this book. But it is a teen, so it's not like, they don't talk about Trump or anything, like, nothing like that. The next book is One of Us Is Next. So I really recommend this book, but read the first one first. This is the second book in the series. I don't think you really need to read the first book, but it does help you get some major plot points. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. If you're into mysteries and thrillers, I definitely recommend this book. The next book on my list is As Many Nows as I Can Get. And this is by Shauna Youngdahl. I hope I said that right. In one impulsive moment, the summer before they leave for college, overachievers Scarlett and David plunge into an irresistible swirl of romance, particle physics, and questionable decisions. Told in a non-linear, vivid first-person chapters, As Many Nows as I Can Get is a story of a grounded girl who's pulled into a lightning strike romance with an electric, charged boy and the enormity of the aftermath. I'm a little indecisive about if I recommend this book or not. When I started reading this book, I would have not recommended it at all. It moved pretty slowly. But yes, I think ultimately I would recommend it because it did get better by the end. I mean, there's not as much romance, it's more friendship and romance, and there are some drug-related topics in it, so if you don't want to get into that, I do not recommend this book. But if you're okay with this kind of subject, then I definitely recommend it. Oh, also, all of these books are young adult, so if you're not into young adult books, stop watching this video. So the next book on my list is Moment of Truth by Casey West. Casey West is one of my favorite authors in the romance section. I really, really, really love her books. I just think it's great. They're great. They're amazing. I love them so much. So let me just go ahead and read the synopsis for you. At 16, Hadley Moore knows exactly who she is. A swimmer who will earn a scholarship to college. Totally worth all the hard work, even if her aching shoulders don't agree. So when a guy dressed as Hollywood's latest action hero, Heath Hall, crashes her swim meet, she isn't amused. Instead, she's determined to make sure he doesn't bother her again. Only she's not sure exactly who he is. With this book, I recommend anything Casey West writes, but that's only if you're into fluffy romance. Like, I love it just to get a warm feeling in my heart and just to make me feel all giddy and happy, but if you're not into romance in any way, I do not recommend this book. Do not read it. So the next book on my list is Unpregnant. It is by Jenny Hendricks, and let me just go ahead and read this book to you. Veronica needs an abortion, but the closest place she can legally get one is over 900 miles away. And Veronica doesn't have a car. Too ashamed to ask her friends or family for help, Veronica turns to the one person she believes won't judge her, Bailey Butler. Jefferson High's own little black cloud of anger and snark. and Veronica's ex-best friend. Once on the road, Veronica quickly remembers nothing with Bailey is ever simple, and that means 2 days of stolen cars, shotguns, crazed ex-boyfriends, truck stop strippers with pro-life agendas, and a limo driver named Bob. But the pain and betrayal of their broken friendship can't be outrun. When their fighting leads to a brutal moment of truth, Bailey abandons Veronica. Now Veronica must risk everything in order to repair the hurt she's caused. With this book, I do recommend it. I think it's a very important read, especially if, like, you really want to read a book that shows pro-choice. And, like, even if the main character is a religious person and she even struggles herself with, is pro-choice the right thing for me? And I really think it's very important to show a story like this. I really, really, really enjoyed this book, and yes, I highly recommend it. It's very funny and clever, and it's more a story about friendship than anything, and I think it's a really, really, really good story. Okay. The next book on this list is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I love this book so much. This book, okay, let me just go ahead and read the synopsis to you. A missing girl on a journey of revenge, a serial-like podcast following the clues she's left behind, and an ending you won't be able to stop talking about. Sadie hasn't had an easy life. Growing up on her own, she's been raising her sister Maddie in an isolated small town, trying her best to provide a normal life and keep their heads above water. But when Maddie is found dead, Sadie's entire world crumbles. After a somewhat botched police investigation, Sadie is determined to bring her sister's killer to justice and hits the road following a few meager clues to find him. I really, really, really love this book. And this may be the only book I recommend that you read the audiobook over the hard copy. And that is only because of the part of the book that is a serial podcast. In the audiobook, it is actually recorded as if it is a real serial podcast. And I think that is so, so, so cool. Like, when you're listening to it, you feel like you're listening to a podcast, but then it will switch to Sadie's point of view, and it will feel like a regular book. So you switch between, and all the characters are actually voiced separately, and I think it's so amazing. Like, I love this so much, and even though it's fiction, because it sounds like a real podcast, I was worried about the characters because I kept forgetting that they weren't real. So yes, this is, I love this book. Okay, that's all. The next book on my list is Wayward Son. I will go ahead and read the synopsis for you. And this book is by Rainbow Rowell. I really, really love Rainbow Rowell, and this is also the second book in the series of Simon Snow, Carry On. So, the synopsis is, Simon Snow did everything he was supposed to do. He beat the villain, he won the war, he even fell in love. Now comes the good part, right? Now comes the happily ever after. So why can't Simon Snow get off the couch? So basically, this book is the second part to Carry On. It's supposed to be that the story's over, but then they end up going on an adventure together. The three friends from the first book go on an adventure in America. And really, I don't know if I do recommend this book. I think it's a really, really, really good book if you love the characters and Carry On. And I think it's written beautifully. But if you felt like Carry On ended well and you don't feel the need to read anymore, I don't recommend this book. If you just want a fluffy, good read and you want to read a book about someone dealing with depression and how to get over it, I do recommend Wayward Son. It still has some very funny ways of getting to it, and like the characters are very lovable. And I do recommend this book if that is what you're looking for, but if not, stay away from it. That's all I gotta say. I don't really have much to say about Wayward Son. I think it was a good read. That's all. The next book I have on my list is All Eyes on Us, and this is by Kit Frick. The daughter of a small-town social climbers, Amanda Kelly is deeply invested in her boyfriend, real estate heir Carter Shaw. He's kind, ambitious, the town golden boy, but he's far from perfect, because behind Amanda's back, Carter is also dating Rosalie. Rosalie Bell is fighting to remain true to herself and her girlfriend, while concealing her identity from her Christian fundamentalist parents. After years spent in and out of conversion therapy, her own safety is her top priority, but maintaining a fake, straight relationship is killing her from the inside. The thing about this book is I don't recommend it. Mostly because I have one reason. I don't really remember it. If a book is not memorable to me, I don't see the point in recommending it to anybody. I just think if it was a really good book, I would want to recommend it to you guys, but I don't really remember it, so what would be the point in recommending it? Well, it does have an LGBTQ character. She's not really, like, she doesn't really have a personality. She's just kind of there. That is the thing about these two characters. They don't really speak to me in any way, and the plot is so juvenile. Like, I just think that the way that the teenagers are written are like, this is not how teenagers act. Like, they just act so annoying, and it just makes me roll my eyes every time it comes on the screen. It makes me roll my eyes every time a scene is like that. I just hated it. So, yeah. I guess I don't recommend that book. I didn't think I felt that strongly about it, but it looks like I did. So the next book on my list is called Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha, I'm gonna butcher her last name, but it's Ngan. That wasn't sign language. That wasn't correct. Ngan. I'm not 100% how you pronounce it. I know how to pronounce I would think it would be a W sound, but I'm not even gonna try because I don't want to ruin it. So this is the second book in Girls of Paper and Fire. So it's about Lay, the native country girl who became a royal courtesan, is now known as the Moon Chosen, the commoner who managed to do what no one else could. But slaying the cruel demon king wasn't the end of the plan. It's just the beginning. Now Lay and her warrior lover Ren must travel the kingdom to gain support from the far-flung rebel clans. The journey is made even more treacherous thanks to heavy bounty on Lay's head, as well as insidious doubts that threaten to tear Lay and Ren apart from within. So, with this book, it's not like Wayward Son in the sense that I don't think you need to read it. I think it is interesting, and it did end on a cliffhanger, which I appreciated because, like, if they do plan on making it a series, it is nice to have it continue and keep you on the edge. However, it still caused me to roll my eyes a few times. Just like some authors see teenagers as so irresponsible and so immature, and I just hate how they make them seem juvenile. And like, at this point, these two women are young adults and they just killed someone, but somehow they can't figure out their relationship. Like, to me, it's like they can plan this whole murder plot, but they can't stay together. So to me, it's just so irresponsible and dumb. I do think the book was good. It was written well. If you did love the first story, it is worth the read, but then from there, I think you can make your own decision if you want to continue reading the series. My final book is Rain and Delilah's Midnight Matinee. Let me read you the synopsis. Every Friday night, best friends Delilah and Josie become Rain Ravenscroft and Delilah Darkwood, hosts of the campy creature feature soap Midnight Matinee on the local cable station TB6. But with the end of the senior year quickly approaching, the girls face tough decisions about their futures. Josie has been dreading graduation as she tries to decide whether to leave for a big university and chase her dream career in mainstream TV. And Lawson, one of the show's guest performers, a talented MMA fighter with weaknesses for pancakes, fantasy novels, and Josie, is making her tough decisions even harder. For Delilah, it has always been about her dad, who abandoned the family years ago. If Midnight Matinee becomes a hit, maybe he'll see it and want to be a part of her life again, and maybe Josie will stay with the show instead of leaving her behind too. With this book, I do recommend it again. I think it's a great book about friendship. It's really comedic, and there is some romance if you're into that. It gives a really nice spin on how a friendship is actually shown with two girls. But again, it did cause me to roll my eyes with the immaturity of these characters. They just act like there's nothing else in the world. And really, Josie did not bother me at all. Delia did. I was not a fan. She just acted so mature and it was not fun. to watch her struggle in life, but I do recommend this book if you just want a laid back read. It is a very, very good book. I really enjoyed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making this one. I do enjoy talking about books, and if you guys do want to hear me update you anytime I read a new book, please let me know down below in the comments. And please let me know what you guys have read this year. I really want to find some new recommendations. So please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to see what's up next. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to chat with you soon.